Oh yeah, here we go, here we go, here we go!
Look out! Here comes the Spider-Man!
Which one of the universes do you think he was a part of?
No idea. That was weird, though.
Is that universe number
90210? Oh, that was Beverly Hills.
Close enough. I mean, I don't know what zip code Hollywood actually is, but guys, we're the Cinefanatics. We are here with a Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse review. I'm Chris Adams.
And I'm Robert Adams.
That little clip right there at the beginning was actually from our trip that we took to LA during the VidCon time.
Yeah.
When we attended VidCon.
Was that back in June?
Yeah.
Yeah, went to peruse LA. As movie people, we kind of like to go walk down Hollywood Boulevard. So
at least once.
That was something from, that was in your vlog, I believe. We both did vlogs. We have vlogs. If you want to check them out, we got them linked down below. You want to see that specific one? I'll have that linked right here.
Hey, we got the iCard right this time.
Yeah, we did.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that was a lot of fun. That's one of those things that when you're doing a video, you catch in editing later, like, oh, random Spider-Man guy just
fantastic.
Walked right in front of the camera.
Well, speaking of Spider-Man,
got to use that.
Speaking of Spider-Man, so yeah,
the reason you clicked on this video,
Into the Spider-Verse. So first off, this was a animated movie, done by Sony. The storyline, the storyline was based on two properties. Basically the origin of Miles Morales from the Ultimate Universe, and then the Into the Spider-Verse, the Spider-Verse comic.
Very loosely based on that.
Very.
Considering we're missing like a few thousand Spider-Men.
Yeah, and I don't want to go into the details of that, but that's what it's based off of.
The great thing to remember here is that for those of you who are wrapped up in the Tom Holland Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you don't have to know the MCU at all to watch this movie. It's not related whatsoever. It should be clear because one's animation and one's live action, but just in case someone was out there wondering, not related whatsoever. This movie is, I believe it was written by Phil Lord and Chris Miller. You can tell a little bit, at least I could, that there was a lot of flavor of the Lego Movie in this movie, and that was definitely Phil Lord and Chris Miller's flavor added in there. It's all throughout how like set pieces move. Yeah, you could get a lot of flavor of that. I picked up on it pretty quickly just based on the humor in the movie. And it's actually, while I appreciated a lot of the jokes, that is one of the things that I felt could qualify as a negative for me, in that humor just hit, and did not give me enough chance to breathe between the jokes so I could actually appreciate them.
Yeah, it's kind of like the humor of the Lego Movie was so like rapid fire, which is great.
I enjoyed it in the Lego Movie.
Yeah, I think in the Lego Movie it kind of served it a lot, but in the Spider-Man movies, it's not the same kind of world or humor that the Lego Movie is. And so, yeah, sometimes it was good. At some points, it was completely out of place. I know some of that was based around like the characters that they used. Speaking of everything that was used, the Easter eggs of this movie were insane. I'm not giving any of them away. Definitely stay after the credits, but there was just little things. If you are a comic book fan, you will pick them out. It doesn't.
Maybe
stop.
In your third watching.
Yeah, it doesn't stop. There's so much stuff in this that it was a complete nod to the comics. Some of the stuff, like they had Kingpin had a thing about trying to get his wife and his kid back. The wife and kid were named Vanessa and Richard. Most movies really wouldn't focus on that much detail, but that one was a major focus of this, and that was really awesome, the fact that they did that. There's even more minute details than even that, but I mean, that's what I want to pick out without spoiling stuff.
Ton of stuff, including the amount of Spider-Man in the movie as well.
There, at least the selection of who they chose to be in this movie.
There were really interesting choices. There's actually at least one of those I haven't heard of before, which was
Penny Parker.
Penny Parker.
The Asian...
Like the anime style.
Yeah.
With the spider robot. I heard of Spider-Man Noir, I heard of Spider-Ham, heard of Spider-Gwen, and then obviously Peter Parker and Miles Morales. So I did appreciate the use of all of them. Like, I really liked the idea of what they were doing with this movie, where they were actually bringing Spider-Man from multiple dimensions, all putting them into one story and kind of having them work together. One of the things that really lost me a little bit, though, was that at least the three, Spider-Ham, Penny Parker, and Spider-Man Noir, kind of felt very underutilized to me. Mm-hmm. They had maybe a couple good action sequences, but for the most part were there just to kind of joke.
Yeah, especially Noir being black and white, coming from a world of like where he just doesn't understand colors.
Yeah.
Spider-Ham coming from definitely a cartoony world where he was originally a spider that was bitten by a radioactive pig, and that's how he became Spider-Ham. Yeah, I definitely think that those three weren't very essential to the plot, but that is also, I think, because, again, this movie tend to focus more on the origin of Miles Morales.
It's true.
With a Peter Parker to kind of help guide him into that.
And so that being said, whereas I would have pointed that out as a negative, the positive here is that Miles' story
was good.
Really worked.
Yeah.
It was fantastic, and if you have to underutilize those three characters to tell that story the way they did, then yes, I get it. Do that. Because his story was full of heart, it was humorous where it needed to be humorous, and yeah, there was just some gripping moments in his story that really came across very well, especially when you had him playing off of Peter Parker. Kind of like an older, more retired Peter Parker, so to speak.
Yeah.
Who felt kind of done with life.
Like a Dark Knight Returns Peter Parker.
Yeah. More or less.
We're going to mix our comic book studios there, but...
More or less. So, I mean, that being said, the story of the movie actually worked well. I thought it was fantastic. I thought having Kingpin as the actual main bad guy was a very unique way to go, but they gave him a very, like... I don't know what it is about Kingpin. In the Daredevil Netflix series, they give him, like...
A very humanistic.
A very human,
you kind of side with him. And you kind of sided with him in this as well.
Like, you understood why he was doing it, because there was a lot of heart behind his motives. At the same time, he's still the bad guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the story pulled together well between him and then the spider people.
The other major thing to talk about with this movie is the animation style.
Yeah.
The animation of this was not... I have no idea how to describe it. It definitely was computer based for the most part. Mm-hmm. The look of it definitely had a feel of a comic book. It definitely had those old pop art dots and stuff. While also having weird extra lines. There were some parts of it where the angles of the camera were weirdly out of focus to kind of show some kind of depth to it. While other parts of it, there was people and things had a weird blue and red outline glow, it was supposed to be in 3D, even though we went to a 2D showing of this.
Which I both love and hate that we did that.
Yeah.
I love it because I feel like the 3D would have messed with me, but also I hate it because the 3D would have been cool.
The 3D probably would have looked a lot better on this, so... if you go see the 3D version, let us know how awesome it was down below, because we didn't do that.
Yeah.
I do think there was definitely some very beautiful shots of that movie, and I think it was very well done. And I wouldn't mind seeing another movie with this kind of animation style.
Yeah, I think it's good that they chose this animation because, first of all, it provides a very unique flavor to this movie. Mm-hmm. Sets it apart from, by now we've had how many Spider-Man stories on the big screen? This, while animation would already separate it, I think this style of animation takes that step further and makes it a little bit more apart from the rest of the pack. That being said, I actually really enjoyed the animation. I thought where there's places where maybe there's just so much action happening, there's so many flashing details here and there, and just where there might be times where it felt like an acid trip was happening during the movie.
The climactic scene.
The climax was
jeez.
like such an acid trip.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when it comes down to it, I would say, like, this movie, I'm definitely a big fan of this movie. I think it's actually going to be, right now, it might be in one of my top fives. I know it almost sounds like we were being kind of negative throughout this whole thing, but I really had fun with this movie.
I mean, I definitely thought it was entertaining. I don't think it was probably one of my favorites, but it definitely had like a lot more rewatchability than, say, a DC movie so far. We haven't seen Aquaman yet, but
Did that John Cena face.
yeah.
Yeah, we haven't seen Aquaman yet. We've been harsh on Aquaman, but I'm hearing and betting that it's probably going to be good. That being said, we're on Spider-Verse right now, and I really enjoyed Spider-Verse. So for this one, you know, I want to do like little Spider-Man logos. Can we do Spider-Man logos? The little Spider-Man.
Sure. How many do you want?
I'm gonna rate it 4 out of 5. Little Spider-Man.
They're right there.
Look at those.
Yeah, that's cool.
Fantastic.
4 out of 5, huh?
I thought it was great.
I thought it was an enjoyable movie. It wasn't all that for me, but like I said, I did enjoy it. It was entertaining. I'll rate it 3. I'll give it 3 out of 5 logos.
Yeah, the negatives for me weren't negative enough to actually pull me out of it completely. They were just things I wanted to bring up just to kind of have a well-rounded review, I guess. Mm-hmm. But the positives are great animation, great humor, very, very well done on the story, great characters.
Yeah.
So that's going to do it for our review of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. What did you think? Did you like the movie as well? I mean, did you have some of the same feelings we did? Let us know down in the comments below. So while you're here, also like this video. Did you like it? Well, hopefully you did. Hopefully we're putting on some good stuff for you here.
I liked it.
I liked it too. Subscribe if you do like it, because we're doing all sorts of stuff like this. We're doing other reviews coming up. Next week is going to be crazy. Stay tuned to the channel, because who knows what's going to pop up when.
And as always, we gotta go, because here comes the Spider-Man.
I understood that reference.
Later.
See ya.